Oh, we play on Prime Time that week? I didn't even know that.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, we play on Amazon Prime?
Thursday.
Oh, that's going to be lit right there. I didn't even know that for real. So, but, yeah, we're looking forward to who we play?
Bengals.
We're looking forward to the challenge. It's going to be fun, you know. And I can't wait to go against Eli Apple, man. I owe you, boy. I owe you. I'm here. The cheetah is here. That's it.
Intel.
All right.
Tonight in primetime on Amazon Prime Video, the Miami Dolphins visit the Cincinnati Bengals. The Dolphins will take the field sporting a 3-0 record, while the Bengals are sitting at 1-2. It's a long way away from the Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals, but for some reason, they are favored by 4 points over the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins continue to get no respect. After beating the Patriots, the Ravens, and the Buffalo Bills, they are still the underdog in this game. They're like the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL.
Boy, that's the story of my life. No respect. No respect.
This game has all the makings of an epic matchup. Media darling Joe Burrow versus Tua Tagovailoa. The track meet will be in full effect. The Dolphins have Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle going against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But it appears we have some psychological mind games going on here. Tyreek is positioning himself as if he's got some sort of axe to grind with cornerback Eli Apple. Apple and Tyreek went at it on Twitter and in the media last year, with Eli Apple getting the last word by telling Tyreek he'd leave Super Bowl tickets for him. That was an obvious dig at Tyreek after the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game last year. In that game, Tyreek had 7 receptions for 78 yards and 1 TD. Not a bad game, but they still lost. Now, before tonight's game, Tyreek has been calling out Eli Apple. Apple remained oddly quiet. He let the other guys in the secondary come to his defense.
It adds some spice to the game. Now, y'all talk about it, people talk about it, and it builds a little hype, you know. Get the numbers up for the NFL, you know.
I don't know if Eli got him tickets to the Super Bowl last year or not, but I think that's probably why he's a little upset. So we'll see. And, you know, somebody come after Eli, he come after all of us. So we're all up for the challenge.
It must have still been in his head a little bit, obviously, if he brought it up. So it's kind of you come at one of us, you come at all of us. But we don't need to do no talking, man. We got a job that we got to do on Thursday, and, you know, we feel like they're in our way, so we just got to go out there and try to get a win.
To add further fuel to the fire, Tua Tagovailoa in a press conference said that if he gets the chance, if Eli Apple is one-on-one with Tyreek, he's going to take the shot.
Tyreek called out Eli Apple after Sunday's game. He says, I owe you. For you as a quarterback, when you have an outspoken receiver like that that's sort of hyping up an individual matchup, what's your approach to that?
Well, you know, it's fuel to the fire for Tyreek. You know, he's a competitor, and he loves those kind of things. You know, if Tyreek is matched up with him and we call a play for Tyreek and it's one-on-one, I'm giving Tyreek a shot. Just know that he is getting the ball.
Is anyone actually buying this crap? I'm not. I can see this for the psyop that it really is. Let me ask you something. Do you really think Mike McDaniel wants Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill out there telegraphing his game plan? I don't think so. Can the Bengals be foolish enough to take the bait on this obvious head fake? But one thing is for sure, Eli Apple cannot cover Tyreek Hill man-to-man. He's going to get cooked if he's out there trying to match step for step with Tyreek on his own. My guess is that McDaniel wants Tyreek doubled. And if they double Tyreek, you know what happens next. And they can't possibly double Tyreek and Waddle. So here's what I think is going on. On a short week, the most vulnerable part of the Cincinnati Bengals defense is going to be their linebackers. Just imagine the Bengals linebackers trying to cover man-to-man Mike Gesicki, Raheem Mostert, and Cedric Wilson. Ain't gonna happen. The Dolphins play action could leave the Bengals exposed. Think about this. The Bengals have lost to Mitch Trubisky, Cooper Rush, and then they beat up on a 37-year-old Joe Flacco. That's hardly Mac Jones, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. In the Steelers game, the Bengals sacked Trubisky 1 time. In the Cowboys game, the Bengals sacked Cooper Rush 1 time. But in the Jets game, facing 37-year-old Joe Flacco, they sacked him 4 times. However, in that same period of time, the Bengals have given up 15 sacks. Joe Burrow has been sacked 15 times against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New York Jets. And somehow, the Bengals are favored by 4 points. Why? Because they're wearing these white uniforms? What am I missing? I'm not really a gambling man, but if I was, I would be taking the Dolphins with these 4 points without blinking an eye. In my opinion, the only way that the Bengals beat the Dolphins is if Tua isn't up to speed or if the Dolphins beat themselves with turnovers. I feel strongly that the Dolphins are going to be able to bring more heat on Joe Burrow than the Bengals can bring on Tua Tagovailoa. And if the Dolphins bring the kind of pressure against Joe Burrow that they brought against Josh Allen, there's no way they're going to drop 6 interceptions. This also might be the game where we hear the name Jaylen Phillips a lot. Like I said, if Tua is healthy and if they can bring the pressure on Joe Burrow, the Dolphins win. Period. How do I know this? Ignore the mind games you're hearing in the media. Ignore the stuff Tyreek is saying about Eli Apple. Just look at the rosters. Let's go into Cincinnati, kick some ass, and take 10 days off before we have to face the New York Jets. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about tonight's game and what the Dolphins need to do to win. And if you're not doing anything, you'd like to join me on my surround cast as I broadcast live tonight on a Thursday night in prime time, go ahead and click the button right here to be notified when I go live. Talk to you soon. Fins up. Big game, big night. Let's do this. I think we got it.